Welcome back to the Crypto Bar channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is finally starting to break out above this key area of resistance in the short term, as we're now moving closer towards a possible short squeeze, as we've just seen one of the largest net inflows into the spot Bitcoin ETFs that we've seen in weeks. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, alongside Ethereum, which is now breaking out above a key area of resistance in the short term, while the price of Solana is continuing the bullish reversal, while XRP is now running into an important level of resistance. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before we take a look at the Bitcoin charts today, we need to talk about the Bitcoin news today, because just yesterday on Friday, we saw one of the largest net inflows into the spot Bitcoin ETFs that we've seen in weeks. That is right, we saw a net inflow of over $900 million coming into the spot Bitcoin ETFs just yesterday, just on Friday. And so obviously with this massive net inflow of almost $1 billion coming in just yesterday, this has more than made up for the net outflow that we saw just the day before. And so of course this is some good news today, seeing these numbers come in at a massive net inflow, because when we're seeing net inflows, in case you're new to all of this, that essentially means buying pressure. That's money coming into the ETFs and then going to the ETF providers like BlackRock and Fidelity, and then they have to buy Bitcoin in order to back the ETFs with these inflows. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today, looking at the weekly time frame right now, technically speaking, we're still playing out this bull market signal, so not much has changed on this chart, and the same can be said about this chart right here. We're still repeating history, still technically due to see a bit of a slowdown for potentially another couple of weeks or so, but sometime soon, in a couple of weeks or so, we're likely going to get ready for that next major move after a little bit more of a cool off in the time being. And if we're taking a look at this 4-day Bitcoin chart, the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market, while this weekly Bitcoin chart is of course already flashing this bearish divergence, which is already confirmed on the weekly Bitcoin chart, with higher highs confirmed in the price and lower highs confirmed in the weekly Bitcoin RSI. So obviously, as I've been saying over the last couple of weeks, this is the first significant warning signal on the larger time frames for the price of Bitcoin, but this alone does not necessarily guarantee a bear market, doesn't guarantee that the bull market's over right now. And so for example, a likely scenario based on these charts right here, based on this bearish divergence active right now and a slowdown showing on this chart right here, but these two charts still looking bullish. Based on all of this information, it's telling us we're still due to see potentially a bit of a slowdown, so some choppy sideways price action maybe for another couple of weeks or so, and then closer towards the second half of this month, we might get ready for that next major move towards the upside, pretty much exactly like what we saw 1 year ago. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, we're getting close to essentially invalidating this bearish divergence. Obviously, if we see a further breakout here in the RSI, especially above this descending line of resistance in the daily Bitcoin RSI, that would be an invalidation signal to invalidate this bearish divergence. But of course, even if that happens on the daily time frame, we still technically have this bearish divergence on the weekly time frame that we cannot ignore. And if we're taking a look at the 12-hour Bitcoin chart right now, as of recording this video, we're beginning to finally break out above this area of resistance based on the volume profile indicator sitting in between around 97 to 98,000. And so of course, if we can see some more candle closes on this 12-hour chart above 98,000, this is good news. That's a bullish signal because we're breaking out above resistance. And the next short-term resistance I'll be watching is sitting at around 99.5k, so close to 100k as the next short-term resistance. And then above 100k, I'll be watching around 101.5k to 102k, so right underneath 102k as the next point of resistance, if we can then break out above 100,000. But obviously, if we're looking at the price action over the last couple of weeks, ultimately we've seen a lot of these short-term bounces back to the upside, while also seeing short-term dumps back to the downside. So ultimately a lot of choppy sideways price action, and like I said earlier, this is likely going to continue to play out. Similar price action to this, for example, potentially over the next 1 or 2 weeks, and then as we move closer towards the second half of this month, we could then begin the next major move in the bull market. And so if you want to get set up ready to go to take these trading opportunities in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take a lot of trades over on BTC Bitfinex. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bitfinex below this video in the description and in a pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is an exclusive deposit bonus that you can only claim using that link. So if you simply just click that link to make your account and then deposit $100 and start trading, you get a $20 bonus. Or if you deposit just $500, you get a $100 bonus. Or if you deposit just 1,000 USDT and start trading, you get a $200 bonus straight into your new account. But that is only available, once again, if you use that link below this video to make your account and start trading on that account. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. And also, in case you're wondering, Bitfinex is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But for whatever reason, if you don't want Bitfinex, there is also Bybit as another option out there, another exchange that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video. But with that being said, while we're starting to see a breakout in the price of Bitcoin above this resistance, obviously I mentioned the other points of resistance to watch out for here in the short term. But as for support, if for example we see a little bit of a pullback, I would expect some support right now in between around 97 to 98,000. So previous resistance becoming new support. But if we were to break back below around 97,000, in that case, the next important support is sitting closer towards around 94,000 and especially around 92,000 as major support. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, right now we have a lot of liquidity sitting right around $100,000 approximately. And so that essentially means, in case you're new to all of this, that means that if the price of Bitcoin crosses above 100,000, crosses above this area right here, then a bunch of short positions will get liquidated. They will get wiped out of the market, which basically causes a short squeeze, because when shorts get liquidated or when shorts close, that essentially means they have to buy back into Bitcoin in order to close those positions, which adds more buying pressure to the price of Bitcoin, which can liquidate more short positions, pushing the price higher and so on. That's what a short squeeze is. And that next short squeeze could potentially begin if we could see a breakout above around $100,000. That's where a lot of liquidity is sitting at here in the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. So keep that in mind. A short squeeze could be coming soon if we can first get above around 100,000. And other than that level, we also have a decent amount of liquidity to the downside at around 91.3 to 91.4K. So like I said earlier, around that 92K level, that is critical support. That is very important support for the price of Bitcoin, because if we break below around 91 to 92,000, that could possibly trigger a long squeeze, pushing the price much further to the downside if we broke below 91 to 92,000. But obviously right now, that is still acting as strong support. And as of right now, we're much closer towards a possible short squeeze than a long squeeze. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, technically speaking, Ethereum is still simply within this larger multi-year bull market, despite seeing short-term pullbacks along the way during the bull market. So not much has changed on this weekly chart over the last few days. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Ethereum chart, technically speaking, we're still currently forming a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is something to pay attention to, because if this actually confirms with a confirmed breakout, so a confirmed weekly candle close above around 4,000 to 4.1K, then in that case, that would set up a huge bullish price target for this massive pattern right here, sitting at close to $7,000 per Ethereum. But remember, that price target only activates, it only comes into play if we first see a breakout above around 4,000 to 4.1K with a weekly candle close above that level. So for now, obviously, this pattern is possibly forming as something to watch out for, but not active right now. And if we're taking a look at this daily Ethereum chart, right now we are officially breaking out above this key area of resistance here in the short term. Obviously, over the last 1 to 2 weeks or so, we've been finding a lot of resistance in between around 34.30 to 35.60. But over the last 1 day, we've now officially seen a daily candle close confirm above 35.60. So this is one confirmation signal confirming the breakout above this resistance, which is obviously a bullish signal. Anytime we break out above resistance, that is bullish. And also, usually when we break out above a key level of resistance, that flips into new support. So if, for example, we see a little bit of a pullback, I'll now expect support in this area in between around 34.30 to 35.60, now acting as support. And the next important resistance to watch out for to the upside, if we continue this pump, pump here, we have a lot of resistance in between around 3.9k to 4.1k. So watch out for that area right there as major resistance. So of course, for the bulls out there, 4.1k is definitely the level to break out above in order to flip much more bullish again. Not just seeing these short-term pumps, but expecting the next significant bullish move like this, for example, in the larger bull market. That could come after we first see a breakout above 4.1k. So we're still waiting for that, obviously. And also, now that we're seeing a breakout above this area of resistance here in the short term, as I just said, that will likely become new support. But this also means the invalidation of this bearish divergence, because right now we finally have higher lows and higher highs in the price of ETH on the daily time frame for the first time in at least a few weeks here. And alongside higher lows and higher highs in the price, we also have higher lows and higher highs here in the RSI, which is obviously a bullish signal. This is bullish price structure and a change from the bearish price structure, which is essentially an invalidation signal to invalidate this bearish divergence. And so overall, I would not be surprised if we continue to see a little bit more of a bullish relief in the coming days or weeks for the price of ETH. And once again, finding support in this area is a likely scenario. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Chainlink on the weekly time frame, right now the price of Chainlink is continuing to find support at this important golden pocket, which is currently support but was previous resistance, and that's sitting in between around $21 to $23 approximately. And so obviously, as we can see here, we never actually confirmed that weekly candle close back below $21, which for now is good news for Chainlink here in the short to midterm, because if we were to actually see a proper confirmed break below $21 with a weekly candle close below that level, in that case, at least for the next few weeks, possibly months, but at least for the next few weeks, that would be bad news for the price of Chainlink. But for now, that has been avoided. We are finding support in this area, which is good news. But of course, if we continue this bounce further to the upside, we still have a lot of resistance at approximately $31 based on this high right here, and also based on this Fibonacci level of resistance sitting at very close to $31. So of course, we still have a lot of resistance above the price, but for now, we're finding support in that golden pocket, which is good news. But overall, not a lot has changed for Chainlink over the last 1 day. So if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about this chart right here, then check out my last video here on the channel. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Solana on the 8-hour time frame, right now Solana is continuing the short-term bullish reversal here and has almost just about hit the technical price target for this breakout opportunity right here, which I shared before the breakout. I said all the way back down here when the price was below $200, I said if we break out above around 197 to 198, that would set up a short-term bullish price target at around $220. But I also said ideally we also need to see a breakout above around $205 to be more confident in this bullish move. So the moment we saw that breakout above this triangle pattern right here and also above 205, these were the signals to flip much more bullish again here in the short term, expecting a continued pump up towards around 220. And that's exactly what we've seen as expected. The moment those signals confirmed over the last few days here, which I've shared over the last few days, we've seen this exactly play out up towards around 220. And so obviously this was a potential trading opportunity here in the short term, whether you entered at this triangle pattern right here at the breakout, or once we actually confirmed a breakout above 205. Either way, if you simply just entered at any of those signals right there, and then you took some profits at close to 220 or 219 right here, right now you would have done pretty well with a bit of a long position here. But obviously, if you missed this specific breakout trade right here, do not worry. There's always more breakout trades just like this happening pretty much all the time, which I share here in these videos completely for free. So make sure you subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important trading opportunities. And remember, get set up ready to go on those exchanges. Links down below if you want to get those extra bonuses to take these trades. But right now, considering the price of Solana is sitting at very close to 220 and hits very close to 220, obviously I'll be watching out for this point of resistance, basically at around $220, going up towards around $223. So in that 220 price range, the low 220 area, I'll be watching out for that area as short-term resistance. But if we can see a breakout above around 223 approximately, in that case, the next resistance I'll be watching is sitting at around $232. And then above that, we have significant resistance at 246 and 260. And as for short-term support, if for whatever reason we see a rejection here from this resistance, in that case, I'll now expect significant support in this area in between around $200 to $205, now acting as support. So overall, the short-term trend is now bullish for Solana. As I've already been saying over the last couple of days, we've seen multiple bullish reversal signals, which I've explained in my last few videos. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at XRP, right now XRP is still currently running into this important descending line of resistance based on this line of resistance right here, based on these highs, sitting at approximately $2.50, give or take. And right now we're still flashing a possible bearish divergence here in the short term, because we've just now confirmed a new higher high in the price in the candle closes, while also still forming lower highs in the 4-hour XRP RSI, which is of course a bearish divergence. And the last time we saw something similar to this from overbought territories on the 4-hour time frame was basically at the beginning of December. And of course, what came next was a bit of a pullback. So keep that in mind. This is a possible warning signal to pay attention to here in the short term. And so in order to flip much more bullish again on the price of XRP, expecting the next major move towards the upside, I'd first like to see a confirmed breakout with candle closes beyond 250. And even better, if we can flip 250 into new support like this, that would be an extra bullish signal. Not necessary, but that would be an extra bullish signal. And of course, if we break it above $2.50, that would also mean likely a higher high in the RSI, which would invalidate the bearish divergence, with higher highs in the RSI and higher highs in the price, meaning no divergence. So that is what I'll be watching out for here in the short term. I'd wait for that in order to flip much more bullish again, and essentially expect more of a reversal out of this short-term bearish trend into potentially a new short-term bullish trend, only if we first confirm those signals that I just mentioned. Because obviously, as of right now, at the time of recording this video, while the price of XRP is still trading below this line of resistance and still flashing a possible bearish divergence, there is still some short-term risk that we need to consider. And in case you're wondering, the center line for this parallel channel right here is currently sitting at around $2.14, and the support line is currently sitting at around $1.84. But once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, you can profit from all of that price action by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.